Hi YouTube! So I wanted to make another video with my completed project that I've been working on, and I showed the mermaid in another video, but I wanted to show you what the completed project looks like. So here is the finished product. So I'm going to go through all of the materials I used for this particular project, and what I'll probably do is use this as a opening page for one of my scrapbook albums. I like to kind of do that, or actually one of the pages that are in between. It's just kind of a fun thing to break up all the pictures that people look at. So the first thing I'll talk about is, or show you, is some of the things that I've done in this project. If you watched my other video, you know that I used a couple of different stamps to make the whole body here of the mermaid, and talked about this before, but the body is one stamp with the legs. The fin comes from a fish stamp, and I'll show all of the stamps so that you can get an idea. The head is another stamp with the sunglasses on it, and then the hair here is a different stamp, and so are the octopus and the fish here in the images. The other thing that is a stamp is the crab here at the bottom. And of course this little saying here, mostly I just sit around all day being fabulous. And I thought that was kind of appropriate for the pose of this mermaid here. So in addition to the stamps that I used, I colored this in with my Copic markers. So I've been practicing doing that. I also used a pen that has some glitter in it, and it's easier to see in the legs that there's some sheen or shine there. And I also added it into the hair. It's very hard to pick it up sometimes in this light, and you'll also notice that I used glossy accents in the sunglasses. There is also perfect pearls in the fish, little orange fish here, and this piece right here is a transparency, and I'll show you the package. This is a transparency from K & Company, and this is also a transparency from K & Company. And then this little shell right here comes from the same line at K & Company, and it comes from like a die cuts package. I covered the crab with stickles and used a picket fence acrylic paint to color in the eyes here, because all I did was just stamp the image down onto the background of this paper, and so it was all blue at first, and I colored in with a Copic marker. Didn't like the result, and thought, well, if I use this color stickles, he'll stand out better. So he's kind of hiding behind the seaweed here. And then at the bottom, this is embossing powder that I used. I have a stamp that is this sort of undulating shape, and I just used pieces of it to stamp along the bottom to kind of make a little hill to make it look like sand. So if I can get this all in the frame, sort of, get this far, see if I can get it far enough back for you to see it all. I also distressed the edges of this paper. The paper itself for the background is Canson watercolor paper, and I just like to use that because it seems to work very well with the inks and absorb some of the water that comes out of it. And then the paper that I used to stamp the images on is actually Nina Solar white paper, and I use that for when I'm coloring with my Copics. So onto the supply list, and for those of you who are familiar with Diane Reevely, she is the person, or she's the creator of all the stamp sets that I used on this project. These are the ink sprays that I used, and they don't have any glimmer in them, they're just color. So this blue one is London Blue. This teal one is, what is it called? Calypso Teal. Very pretty. And then this this other one is turquoise, vibrant turquoise. Her colors are very vibrant. I don't know if that's coming through on the image, but that's what I used to spray this background. And I used a technique that she does for ghosting, along with the template from, it's a 12 by 12 template from Crafter's Workshop. And you can see it's very large. It's actually a 12 by 12. And I think this is called, let's see if Cosmic Bubbles is what it's called. So that is the template I used to make all the bubbles on the background. Here are some of the stamps, or these are the stamps that I used. Let me show you that first. Oh, actually, since I have it, I can move it off the desk. These are the shapes that I used for the seaweed and the shell. So you can see I got them on clearance at Michael's. They were $1.99 for this pack, and I believe it was extra off that because these were in the clearance section, and it was during that time they were having the big clearance sale. This is from Tim Kofi, Kane Company, and I don't know what the name of the set is. Let me see. TC Travel Die Cut is what it's called. And I have a couple of packages in here. So there's die cuts, there's dimensionals. They've got all kinds of things in here. It's really pretty. There's a seahorse. This would have been too big for my project, but I used a couple of things out of here, which was very useful. Let's show you the smaller things first. I use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink to stamp my images. The glossy accents. Liquid Pearls, orange. I think this is called Pumpkin, actually. Very pretty color. Stickles. This is the Burgundy. And then I used this distress paint. And what I did was, obviously I didn't use the dauber for this, but I just put it down on my craft mat to make a little blob of it, and then took a paintbrush and painted it into the eyes of the crab. I used embossing powder for the sand, and this color is opaque, and it's called Brown Sugar. It's from American Crafts, and it's the Zing embossing powder. Then I used my distresser for distressing the edges, Tim Holtz distresser. I used a Copic pen. This is a glittery, you can see the pen cap. This is black. And it has that glitter in it. And I use this to outline some of the black areas to give it a little shine. And it really looks great when you do that. And here's the brand. Let me see if I can move the light a little bit. Okay, now really. Okay. Anyway, and then of course these cutting tools that I always use. These are from Fiskars. I actually bought 2 pairs of these. Were in a set. Really great price from Marshall's, I believe. And they're spring-loaded. I really like these for getting into really small, tight spaces. And they're very sharp. I think these are actually gardening scissors, but they work just fine on paper. And then, of course, I use these 2 X-Acto knives. This one is for different types of smaller cuts, and of course this one is also X-Acto knife, and it's got a swiveling head on it. Very small blade. And I will show you the stamp sets. So the first set of stamps is from one of her newer releases, and if I can get that over here, this is the goldfish stamp. And it's actually a background stamp. I just cut a couple of the fish out. I stamped it down, cut a couple of the fish out and colored them with my Copics, and then put the perfect pearls over them. And this one is the hair. So you can see this is seaweed. And then these are the other 2 on the sheet that I didn't use. Okay. And then I used a couple of stamps from this sheet. This is the crab that I used. It has the octopus, and then it has the tail of the fish. So you can see this stamp set. Oh, and that last stamp set is called Ocean Backgrounds. And that's from Diane Reevely. These are all Diane Reevely stamps. This one is called Under the Sea. So that gives you a look at what's on that page. And then the last one I have in this book, or actually, let me show you the body stamp. Here it is. This is, I used all the way from the neck all the way down to the end of the legs. That's where I cut it off. And this one is Pondering Petunia. So you can see a lot of her stamps on here are reusable for other mix and match type of things. And then the last one in this packet that I have is the head. Here's the head with the sunglasses. I actually cut the turban off, so, and then made the shape of the head round. This one is called Traveling Travis because there is a body on here as well. I didn't use this one. I used this in another project that I've shown a video of. So there's the head. And then the rest of the stamp set comes from, this is called Say It How It Is, and there are some really funny sayings on here, but here is the stamp that I use. Mostly I just sit around all day being fabulous. And I can read some of these to you. They're just hilarious. Honey, I have heels higher than your standards. Cleaning, I just sweep the room with a glance. I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. You're about to exceed the limits of my medication. Out of the way, I have my sassy britches on. I am exhausted by how stupid everyone is getting. I am currently unsupervised. The possibilities are endless. That one probably would be great if you had kids. But not necessarily all just kids. You know, it can apply to other things. Anyway, I don't like morning people or mornings or people. And then the last one is, you would think that with all your multiple personalities, at least one would be likable. So this stamp set is Say It How It Is. It's one of her new ones that has just come out. I believe that is it for the stamp sets that I use. Well, actually, I think there's a border stamp that I used, and I will show it, just since I'm showing everything else. Here's the border stamp that I used. It's quite long. And you can see in my image it didn't have these humps, and that's because I took the embossing powder off where these little pieces came, because I think that actually looks like a dinosaur to me. And I didn't need that part, so I removed it. The sheet is called Bordering on the Edge. So that is my project share for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. It's raining here, so hopefully it's a little sunnier where you're all at. I just want to say thanks to my subscribers for watching. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. If there's anything you want to see more of, please comment below. And thank you. Have a good one. Bye.